So basically, they're monetizing as hard as they can, and you can totally see why people would say that this is the start of some form of slippery slope. So,
I think that's
look, it will. Their goal, I think, is for it to be a slippery slope.
Yeah.
They want us to slide down it. They're just, I think, chancing their arm, pushing their luck, seeing what they can get.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. I was afraid of the slippery slope being slippery and us going like, but because we've already seen the bottom of the slope so far, now that the TCG stuff is in there, then there's actually an insane amount of slope left for us to slide down with the Spectral Tiger, with all the other TCG stuff, which I can't imagine they'll really go for without, if this doesn't work. But it's a case, I can't get away from all of the
It will work though.
it absolutely will. But all of the success they saw with Shadowlands being the fastest selling PC game and that massive burst of income from selling a box product, they're not selling a box product anymore, which means they have to do more than, like, you know, if they, with Shadowlands, they were getting like $40. I can't remember. I don't even know what the dollar price of World of Warcraft is.
For the base, it was, I think, at least in the UK, it's £35, then something, and then $69.99 for the edition that has like everything, including the 30 days game time.
Yeah, so if so for my small brain to work, we'll stay in pounds for a second. But that's going from the £10 sub from everyone coming in, and then you've got the 35. So that's an extra, 250% income because it's a box product. This is them trying to do the same and get this absolutely gigantic, massive income, like revenue stream, and then they'll just cycle this around every year or two with expansions and stuff.
I mean, that's basically it. They want to have one big shot of WoW cummies every single year. Yeah. I mean, fair enough if you are doing multiple, all those products. I think it's just for players. It's when it feels like Blizzard's financial incentives are not aligned with giving us a great experience. And I think that is essentially it. Players are more than happy to throw Blizzard their money. We have been throwing them our money for a long, long, long time indeed. It's just when it feels like the reason why we're giving the money is not because of some great value that we're getting. It's because we're kind of being strong-armed into it, that the incentives don't really feel great, that it maybe feels a bit adversarial. And the reason why earlier I said it will work is, I mean, take Zach, right? Dude's pissed. He basically looked like he was on suicide watch in his treehouse. Like, whenever he did that video, dude did not look happy at all. And he was, in a very defeatist way, being like, yeah, I'm probably going to buy that. Because, all those characters I care about. So, even if even him, right? The guy who does the slash spitting in store mounts. Which, I wouldn't really advocate for that, but whatever. Do whatever he wants.
I actually forgot about that. I remember explicitly doing that in Legion, and now sometimes I fly around in a Fey Dragon. I'm the problem too.
Yeah, that's it. We'll have to do a wee spit in you. But it's that thing where if even he is thinking, God, yeah, they're probably going to get me in that one, and he's the guy who publicly is anti, a bunch of this stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like, oh well, we live in a society. What you gonna do? Got to play the game. I think your average Joe is totally going to, and it's a sort of thing where it's $35 for that clone, and that is higher than I thought. Like, whenever we saw the polling that Blizzard was putting out, that user research that they were doing, and I think the top end of that was $39.99, we kind of thought, imagine going over $30, how insane. I mean, surely this is going to be like $10, $15. But no. And $35, I mean, think about the indie games you could get for that. Think about, it's that thing where that this is not priced based on the value they're delivering. This is priced based on how much you care about that character, and because of that, how much they can extract from you.
And it's not even just that. It's not just how much you care about your character or how much value there is. It's they're pricing it against their own services, because it's like, yeah, you're having a great time with your classic guild. You're having a great time playing classic. You want to maybe you still didn't get through Nax because you're being a bit slow, whatever else. You know what? You could just buy a boost for TBC. But then, is it a different class? Maybe you've not played it. Maybe you'll get wrecked in like Hellfire Peninsula PvP. You know what? Actually, I could clone my current character because that's a little bit cheaper. That's a better deal. Oh, I feel happy about my purchase for a couple of seconds. Like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, okay, yeah. And it's the same as all of the other character services. It has absolutely piss all to do with value, and it's everything about their marketing and sales team making those decisions and selling those products, as opposed to anything to do with the game. It is just, oh yeah, well, we'll use marketing 101 and 102 and 103 and however class numbers go in the US. We'll use expert level marketing to sell everything instead of going, here, we are humble salesmen, would you like our wares?
Yeah, and the thing is, you're dealing with the gamers. And if there's going to be any audience who is going to be aware of stuff, I mean, what do we do when we play games? We understand systems, we recognize patterns. So we're going to be wise to whatever they do pretty damn quickly. And, it's that thing. I've heard people say that, Blizzard prices those character services, the server transfers, the faction swaps. They price them prohibitively. Is that my, like your man, Benedict Cumberbatch, you can't say penguins. You know what I mean.
Prohibitively.
Cheers.
Prohibition like alcohol.
Yes. So it's that thing where, there's people who say that that's why they price those things. They actually price them so high because they don't want you to use too many of them. And, I can see someone in Blizzard drinking their own Kool-Aid and actually believing that. Price is one way to de-incentivize people using those services too much. If their actual concern was that there'd be too many zombie characters left in classic servers, or something like that, or that you could swap your characters around the place too much, well, you could just say, you can only do this so many times. Or, I think there is a cooldown on it, but they could make that cooldown longer. They could do whatever to create that scarcity instead of doing it with cash. So it's one of those things where, if I am paying a subscription fee and there's patches coming out for the game regularly, which unfortunately there's not right now, but whatever, I'd be happy because I'm paying for some value. I'm paying for access to this world, whatever. And a bit more of an a la carte experience as well. Unlike, say, Guild Wars 2 where you buy it, but then there's the gem store. But it's when I'm not getting value and I'm just getting that weird, solving a problem they created thing. That's when there's issues. We see through all this shit as people who play video games, right? It's as simple as that. There's really not much else to say here. They've basically just tried to get as much cash out of this one as they possibly could. And they have went, I think, a little bit too hard. They have probably slightly underestimated the player base. And then they've messed up the times and dates. And all of that has just came together to sour it a bit.
Yeah,
and that's essentially the thing. And that's really sad, because this should have been an incredible rallying cry for the community. Like, I'm very excited to play classic TBC. I don't want to be talking about this. I don't. I want to be talking about how excited I am to roll up Draenei Hunter and go through all the stuff. That's what I want to be doing. It's like all the people saying that, negativity is just something people do for money. And I think it's a pretty stupid thing to say in some ways, because yes, the negative stuff will do better in the here and now. That is absolutely true. But what it will do is it will highly engage a slice of the pie, while also encouraging the pie to get smaller. So, constant stream of negativity when you are dealing with a singular, sort of like a limited niche thing like World of Warcraft, is a terrible way to run anything, because you are advocating for people not to care about the thing that is actually the core heart, for the people who are very cynical about it, the core heart of your business. So we don't do it for that. People say that, and then if you actually look at our channel this week, the main Warcraft channel, we have 2 videos that have performed shit. But they're videos we really enjoyed making that are positive and are actually quite interesting, I think. So, we're still doing that stuff, even though we know that whenever we talk about the problems the game has, that it does hurt the content that we make. And I can even look into my own analytics and know that whenever all was going really, really good in World of Warcraft, and there was a lot of positive, happy things to say, so Legion, in Legion, positive content would do really good. In Legion, if you do a gearing guide, 500k. 600k, 700k, 800k, massive views, you know. I think it was like every single patch. I think it was like me and Kalani would almost like trade places on whose gearing guide would get more views or whatever. It's kind of fun. But that is something where that type of content doing well is driven by general interest in the niche. So if you're purely just doing negative hate content all the time, it's obviously self-defeating. And I think that should be enough to explain to people that it's not something that is done purely for money. Now, if you're doing something in a generalized fashion, where it is not limited to a single niche, then that is like a little bit different. So, you know, it's like the Quarterings channel is not a fan channel of one specific niche. So that basically just means he can be, you know, angry or whatever, report about whatever, for, you know, 500,000 different topics a day or a week or whatever. And he's not going to damage his overall financial performance because that stuff is operating amongst many different niches. And the thing that ties people to his channel is not any one of those niches. It is a broad interest category.
Yeah, it's the same idea in like
completely different for World of Warcraft when you're dealing with a singular niche.
Yeah, same idea in stocks when like it's just a pump and dump. It's just we'll be here and extract all the value, move on, all the value, move on, all the value, and then by the time we come around, maybe they'll have regrown so we can take their crops again, that kind of thing. Whereas here it's just Blizzard. They're almost salting their own fields in a sense, where they're. I mean, I think this actually has been happening in the world where we're overgrowing in soil and the nutrients are going away. So like
that seems like a problem.
Yeah, like fresh vegetables now. I think this is mostly in the US, but also happening in Europe as well. There's less nutrition, so the product is worse because they're just going, well, we need more product, we need more results, like giving it the positivity back. And that's an analogy I would use to describe what they're doing. They're just pulling and pulling and pulling. They're over milking the cow. And the cow's like, I want out of here, please. Can I go anywhere else?
Yeah, that's the thing. And what happens to us basically is we just get disheartened because it is just Blizzard making the same mistakes again and again and again and again. And it's like, guys, anyone could have told you it would pan out this way. We, in fact, did tell you months before it panned out this way, and you blindly charged ahead. You know, it's like their ability to do a patch 9.0.5, and even some of the various different hotfixes and changes they've done, it does actually show that they are able to, with a decent amount of agility, work on some of the core issues the players have got. But they don't.
Just when they choose to?
Yes.
Essentially.
Yeah, so, look, that's basically that for the Burning Crusade right now. Yeah. I'm going to say that I am disheartened on all of that about the timing. I'm disheartened about the pricing and a lot of what is represented in their decision making. But Outland is really cool. It was my first proper expansion, and you have unfinished business in that one. I think you were a more clued in player than I was at that period of time.
Maybe a little bit, yeah.
But I did not really. I mean, I dabbled a bit in Karazhan. I don't think I ever did a heroic dungeon. Because, you can. Well, I mean, I was literally in Karazhan. I never was in a heroic dungeon, so that's obviously possible. At whatever time I was playing it. So, for me, it is this incredible experience that I'm really excited to get into. I'm basically furious that my schedule is as packed as it is. I can say there we have I'd say an extremely major announcement that is going to be made. It's not an announcement that only involves us, though, but that's going to happen in June, July. There's going to be a lot of work leading up to that, and I'm really pissed off, personally, that that's going to take away from playing the Burning Crusade. But, yeah, I can't wait for it. I'm just sad and disheartened that it's like with Blizzard these days, we can't just have a solid win. It can't just be good. There always seems to be a but. And we'll get into that actually when we talk about the changes that are being made for the modern game.
Oh,
because there's a lot of things that are really good. And it's not 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. I genuinely think it is 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So I'm happy for the progress. But I'm still just a little ticked off about some of the minutiae. So that's where we're going to leave it for the Burning Crusade.